Hello, citizens of YouTube. This is the Geeky Nerd here, and today we're going to be talking about the two most common rifle calibers that people like to suppress: 7.62 by 39 and 5.56 by 45 mil, otherwise known as AK versus AR. Guys, we're just talking about ammunition and which one is better to suppress. So, with that said, I'd like to send a big thank you out to everyone who has subscribed, commented, and liked on previous videos. I appreciate you guys, and it really lets me know whether you guys are liking the videos or not, and giving me ideas for future videos to just have a discussion with everyone in the 2A community here and just bring everyone all together. So, with that said, let's get into it. Now, when it comes to suppressing rifle calibers, now of course you do have, well, it's not a rifle caliber, but people will put it in a rifle as like 9mm, things like that. We're just really going to focus on like the two big ones, 5.56, 7.62 by 39. Now, when it comes to the platforms that these calibers traditionally run, 5.56 is going to be easier, just period. For finding a suppressor, you just need a 1/2 by 28 threads. It's concentric to the barrel, and it's going to work. AKs, on the other hand, because they're not actually on the barrel, because they're to a gas block, and you have a little bit of variation there, they're not as easy to suppress with just standard cans. Also, their threads are completely different, and not all suppressor manufacturers make them for them. However, if you are going to suppress an AK out there, and you're just like me, then the Wolverine PBS1 is a fantastic suppressor. Go check it out. It works on AKs. It indexes on the gas block. It's a little bit oversized, so it'll actually fit minor variations without having a baffle strike. It's fantastic. Go check them out. But with that said, that's kind of the nuances of the platforms themselves. But we're really going to talk about the ammunition here. I know I said that, but I just had to put that little caveat in there. Now, when it comes to suppression of rifle calibers especially, you have three big contributing factors. The first one is your caliber of choice and whether it is supersonic or subsonic. The second is the action or the action noise itself. And then the third is going to be the suppressor that you choose. So all those variations come into effect when suppressing a rifle. Now, I personally run AK suppressed, 7.62 by 39 suppressed. Well, why is that? Well, mainly for the fact of I can get subsonic rounds in AKs a lot easier than I can 5.56, and pretty much at all in 5.56. One thing you have to understand with 5.56, if you don't already know, is 5.56, it is a 22 caliber round. Small little thing comparatively to a 30 caliber round. A lot bigger difference, a lot more diameter, a lot more energy going down range, foot-pounds of energy with this than this. Where the 5.56 gets its lethality and usability from is its speed. It's a faster round. It's going damn near twice as fast as these 7.62s. But with that speed comes you have to break the sound barrier to get that speed, and they're a loud round. With this, it gets its power from its weight. So because it is a 30 caliber round, it's a lot bigger round. This where there's only a 22 caliber round. This is able to hold and carry a lot more of its energy and doesn't need as much speed to deliver the same impacts. Now, 5.56, fantastic round, not knocking it. 7.62, fantastic round, not knocking that either. But you got to understand the limitations of the caliber. With this, if you go subsonic, you are losing its velocity that's able to go at in order to get below the sound barrier. If you do that, then you're losing its potential. Then essentially you literally have a 22 caliber round in essence at the speed that it's going because it's not traveling that fast. So there's really no feasible use in running it with subsonic ammunition. To where with this, you still carry the same energy potential as that other round. Of course, it does have its trade-offs, but you're carrying the same amount of energy without really sacrificing anything substantial, to where this, if you try to cut any type of velocity, you lost the battle already as it is. Now, that's one thing about the ammunition here. Well, to go to the AK, this is as you see here, this is a 123 grain round. This right here is a 196 grain round. You can definitely feel there's definitely a difference. They pretty much look the same. They're same caliber, obviously, a 30 caliber 7.62 round. However, With that heavier weight, you are able to make that projectile go slower because it's having to push a lot more weight downrange, which drags its velocity down substantially. Now, what are you losing? What are you gaining? Well, for one, you're losing that subsonic crack, which you want. You're able to go a lot slower, so it's a lot more quieter. You're eliminating that part of the noise, because if you don't hear from the suppressor, you don't hear from the action, you hear from that crack, even if everything else is suppressed, and that's still barely noticeable. But with this, it cuts it down. This, you obviously still have it. However, this is going to have a lot better range distance. This is not. An AK round, on average, you can get about 300 yards, a little bit, 300 yards and in is your pretty much safe operating distance. This, I wouldn't push this sucker past about 100 yards. That's just the fact of it, because it is heavier, it has less projectiles, and it is going subsonic. It has less energy to be able to traverse that gap. And if you go any farther than that, you're pretty much going to have to be lobbing bowling balls down there to be able to hit anything. So that's one downside you have to it. Now, the 5.56 round, you can go in different grains. You can go like a 72 grain, 62 grain, 55 grain, what have you. So they do have different grain variations. However, there really isn't any for cutting subsonic speed. So how do you compensate that? Well, you can either decrease your action noise, so putting kind of dampeners, anything like that on there. Or you can get a bigger can, or a higher volume can, to be able to absorb as much gas energy as possible to eliminate any other noise, to where the only noise you hear is the crack. Generally, though, with a 5.56, of course, you can run a can. It will be hearing safe, but you will still get that crack. Just that supersonic boom of the round breaking the sound barrier. So you're never going to get away from that. That is why I personally choose to run AK suppressed as my platform of choice with a 7.62 round, because I can get a rifle round and drop it below that sound barrier. Now, I know what you're saying. Oh, geeky nerd, why don't you go get 300 blackout? Well, price, cost, not made of money. So I can find that subsonic 30 caliber round for about, give or take, 35 cents on a good day out there. Of course, not during the whole ammo shortage. I bought it in bulk a while ago, but around that price. So it wasn't too bad. To where you're staying at 300 blackout on a good day, you might find it for 75 cents. On average, you can find it for about $1 a round, unless you're reloading. If you're reloading, the world's your oyster. Go right ahead. But I'm not reloading for 300 blackout. I don't want to have to add that as a caliber. I'd much rather just run my 7.62 subsonic. So that is an option if you want to keep the AR platform, but run subsonic ammunition, is go to a 300 blackout. Now, like I said, it's going to be more expensive, but if you want to keep that same platform, you want to go with that, 300 blackout is your absolute best choice to be able to do that. So, yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys, if I have any fellow suppressed AK shooters out there, let me know down in the comments so I don't feel like I'm by myself amongst all the AR guys. Nothing wrong with ARs, but just my personal preference. So, yeah, guys, I hope everyone is having a wonderful, awesome, fantastic day. I'll catch you guys next time. See you guys.